Ships and planes have disappeared without a trace, many lives lost without a reason. What could be the explanation for these strange occurrences? Let's find out as we take a dive into the theories around the Bermuda Triangle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Conspiracy Time. I'm your co-host, Matthew, and here are my fellow co-hosts.
Daniel.
Yeah.
And Arisha.
Nice. So, Arisha, give us a brief background of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, so a brief history. The Bermuda Triangle. It is this triangular section in the North Atlantic Ocean, and it spans between 500,000 square miles to 1.5 million square miles. So it's not a defined area.
Why?
Because it's not.
Just no one can agree on it.
Yeah. No one can agree on like the exact shape of it.
That's very convenient. Don't you think? Yeah.
Lots of proof.
It's also known as the Devil's Triangle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In between Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico. And countless aircraft and ships have gone missing after entering this area. And there's no debris to be found, so there's no evidence of like crashes or anything like that. Explorers dating back all the way to Columbus have noticed compass malfunctions when they're in the area. And there's been a lot of mythical claims throughout history about what exactly is causing these disappearances, all the way from like monsters and things like that.
When was the first claim? What started this idea of the Bermuda Triangle?
One of the first accounts was actually from Christopher Columbus, and he was traveling through the Bermuda Triangle in 1455, around that time, and he got stuck there for quite a while. And he allegedly saw these bright flashing lights in the sky, and he said it was nothing anyone has ever seen before. And so these claims were brushed off because technology and stuff, it wasn't that advanced back then. But now has been current disappearances with higher technology, which leads to a lot of questions.
Are you talking about radar and stuff, right? Compasses, and planes and ships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So a brief content about the claim that we're going to take a dive into, which is the wormhole claim, is that the Bermuda Triangle is an area full of vortexes that spin so fast that it alters the flow of space and time, creating a wormhole that leads to another dimension. All air and watercraft that pass through it are whisked away into another dimension, leaving no evidence behind. And these are thought to be called vile vortexes, which are caused by electromagnetic forces in the area. So a few pieces of evidence that support this claim would be probably one of the most popular ones, which would be the account of the Flight 19. So a little bit about Flight 19 is it was 5 Navy planes on a training mission that disappeared. So it all began as more than nothing than a training flight. It started around 2:10 p.m. on December 5th, 1945. And the flight's leader was Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, who was an experienced pilot and a veteran.
So they're all highly trained.
Yeah, they're all highly trained pilots. And Taylor himself was a veteran from World War II, specifically in the Pacific area of the war. And their triangular flight plan was called for them to head east from the Florida coast and conduct bombing runs at a place called Hens and Chickens Shoals. Then they would turn north and proceed over the Grand Bahama Island before changing course for the third time and heading southwest back to base. And during the flight, Taylor reported that the compasses stopped working and that they were lost. So this is kind of suspicious for such trained pilots to get lost just randomly like that in open sea during nice weather. And throughout this, Flight 19 remained in contact with tower control. But no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't seem to find land. Tower control kept okay, just fly east or fly west, find land to find out where you are. But no matter how long they flew, they could not find any land. And as time went on, obviously they started running out of gas and fuel. And one of the last messages that tower control got from Taylor is that he said, "All planes close up tight." He said, "We'll have to ditch unless landfall. And then when the first plane drops below 10 gallons, we'll all go down together."
Wow.
So that is the last transmission they heard from Taylor. And immediately afterwards, all they heard was static coming from the radios. So the Navy actually launched a mission to go and find Flight 19. And they searched over 300,000 square miles of water of where they were thought to be flying over for over 5 days and found nothing. There was no trace of Flight 19, and there was no debris left over from maybe like a potential crash or anything. No bodies found.
So that's where the wormholes come in.
This is where the wormholes
Yeah.
is. Yeah, this led to people thinking that there are wormholes in the area that teleport lost ships and planes into another dimension. Which
Wow. That's a claim.
That's
That's a claim.
yeah. It doesn't get you thinking.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard of wormholes, but also like that's a theoretical concept that
Yeah.
never been proven before.
To think about that in the ocean,
Yeah.
just like a few hundred miles off of from
The
Florida.
amount of energy that it would
Yeah.
consume to break the space-time continuum.
If there were like a wormhole just chilling in our ocean, I think it would just mess up the whole Earth too.
Yeah.
Not just
It's a bit too strong to be just chilling out in the middle of
Yeah.
the ocean.
I'm already thinking that there's definitely more viable explanations, but I'll let you keep going if you have more on this topic, or if there's other claims.
there's other the next claim I have here is a pretty interesting one actually. It's to be considered the living proof of this theory, and there's this man named Bruce Gernon who allegedly survived the Bermuda Triangle, and this is a claim where a pilot named Bruce Gernon in 1970 was set to fly his plane from the Bahamas to Florida, and it was supposed to take him about an hour and a half to fly there. However, during his journey, he encountered like a really dark cloud and everything like that, and then as he was flying through, there's no way to avoid it. So he was flying through, and then he allegedly saw like many flashing lights, like just how
Like Columbus,
Columbus saw,
yeah.
right? He saw flashing lights. He experienced that his compasses weren't working. He was lost, and then when he came out of the cloud, he was just over ocean, like he didn't know where he was. And then a second cloud that looked like very ominous again went into it, and then same thing, saw the same things. And then when he came out of it, he was actually flying over Miami, Florida already. But this is only a mere 45 minutes later after he took off. So it seemed like he time traveled, or like
Yeah.
he went into a wormhole somewhere
Yeah.
and came out on top of Florida. Because there's no way with the technology and the plane he was driving, because he was like a civilian pilot. So with the technology he was given, there's no way he could have made that trip in 45 minutes without the help of a so-called wormhole. So that is
Those are the
another big claim.
claims. Yeah.
So are those the claims that we're looking at, or are there more? Or is that kind of the ones we're looking at?
That's kind of the ones we're looking at. We don't have too much time here, but
So we have some research
Yes.
that we've looked into in terms of these claims. I think this is probably going to be much more viable as an explanation. In terms of the compass malfunctioning, so I did a bit of research. I did a little searching on the web, and the Bermuda Triangle lies on the agonic line, which is an area that is between true north and magnetic north, which would explain the navigation issues.
because the compass wouldn't know where to go.
Exactly.
Ah, okay.
So, being in an area like in the middle of the ocean without navigation, automatically you're going to be like,
Yeah.
you might crash the plane.
Yeah.
You might,
You might get lost.
yeah.
There's a chance.
And in terms of that area being dangerous, which is why people are thinking, oh, there's a wormhole there. Well, the Bermuda, it lies on the Gulf Stream, which is an Atlantic current that causes like rapid and violent changes in weather. So going there is kind of like, well, it's the ocean, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But also there's a study that says that disappearances do not occur with a greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than in any other comparable region of the Atlantic Ocean.
That's interesting.
So the ocean is just dangerous, first of all.
Yeah. that's for sure.
Third of all, because I've named two others, it is the most heavily traveled shipping lane in the world. So when people talk about this area being like super dangerous, I think what they mean to say is like, well, there's so many ships going down, so many planes going down. Well, it's also the most trafficked area, which
Stuff is bound to happen.
something's bound to happen. Exactly.
But if it's so traveled, like, how come like no one has ever found debris or anything?
Well, you see, the thing about the ocean, especially in this area, is it's super, super deep. The Bermuda Triangle contains the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean, which is the Milwaukee depth, and that is 8,380 meters deep.
Like 8 kilometers almost. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, all of the ships and all of the planes that would fall there, they're pretty heavy, so they wouldn't stick around near the surface for long.
yeah, that's
Definitely not. And then, in addition, we've talked about the Bermuda Triangle having not clear definitions of borders. There's a lot of speculation of like it being 500,000 square miles or being 1.5 million square miles. So,
It's a big difference.
yeah,
So if they only search 300,000 square miles out of the 1.5 million of them, there's
Yeah, there's
kind of high chance that they wouldn't find. Oh yeah,
it's
Yeah.
a huge area to search.
area,
It's the ocean. I don't think. I mean, if you look at the Malaysia flight that went down, I don't think they ever found that flight, as far as I know.
So it's not just the Bermuda Triangle that
No.
has mysterious disappearances.
No, the ocean's just dangerous. So, what are you guys' opinions on this claim? Do you think it's supported or?
I definitely say, I definitely say no. There's a lot of simpler explanations.
Yeah, we're running into a little bit of an Occam's razor situation.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of simpler explanations. Like it's just
like all the ones we said before. The ocean's dangerous.
yeah.
Matter of
The
fact,
ocean
dangerous.
is just dangerous, no matter where you are. I feel like because the Bermuda Triangle is very advertised and like popularized as this dangerous place, we kind of focus, we kind of look for patterns to see like, oh, another plane.
Patternicity being
Yes.
involved in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So there's that.
People need something to blame for the disappearance of their loved ones.
Exactly.
There's also profit to be had here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of profit, the Bruce Gernon, the one who survived allegedly the Bermuda Triangle. Whenever you do any searching up on him or anything, for the general information, you can find what happened to him, stuff like that, because that's all in the news. But if you want to see his opinion on the conspiracy theory, because of someone who survived it, he should probably have a strong opinion on whether or not the stuff are real or not.
Let me guess, you got to buy his book, right?
You gotta buy his stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for his opinion. So there's a lot of suspicious things going on around the motivation behind making these
Profit,
claims.
yeah.
People can make a lot of profit.
Gift shops, book deals, documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, people love conspiracies.
People love it, and it makes money. So
So, in conclusion, what would you rate this out of? What do you think?
I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10?
5 out of 10.
I feel like you're being generous.
Yeah, maybe. I'd say 5 out of 10 because at first glance, wormholes making things disappear, that seems pretty. It could be possible, but looking into it deeper, I'm kind of like, no, there's no way.
What about you?
I would rate it a good 3 out of 10 because just the claims are just so out there. It's just hard to believe, and there's so many other reasons that we've covered that could be possible triggers for not finding the debris, not seeing a reason why. And I don't think it's reasonable to claim, oh, there's wormholes because we couldn't find anything. So 3 out of 10 for me.
I think I'm just slightly lower than yours. I think I'm at a 2 out of 10. Just because, I don't know, it's just so obvious that there's explanations here. It's the ocean, there's weather, stuff happens, especially in a heavily trafficked area of the ocean. Yeah.
So in all, we agree that this conspiracy of the Bermuda Triangle and wormholes is not valid,
Nope.
not validated, not true,
Nope.
in our opinion. But obviously, everyone's free to have their own opinions about this, and you can tell us in the comments about what you think about it, and we'll take a look.
And this has been
Conspiracy
Conspiracy Time.